I had a great time talking with Karen Tui Boyes the other day about my new book, Am I Having Fun? Luckily, we recorded our conversation, and this is the first of 2 or 3 clips from the session. In this clip, Karen asked me what the inspiration was behind writing a leadership book called Am I Having Fun?
Welcome. My name's Karen Tui Boyes, and I am delighted to introduce, if you don't already know, the amazing, the one and only Steve Zonneville. Hi, Steve.
Hello there. How you doing?
Well, I'm excited. I'm always excited.
That's true.
Particularly about launching your new book, because if you were at the launch of his previous book before that, Be Slacker Better, this one has been going off the shelves like hotcake. If you were there for that, this one is even better.
So, yes.
Particularly. Yeah. So let me introduce Steve to you if you don't know him. He is an incredible educator, incredible teacher. He's an ex-principal, and he is so passionate about making sure that as educators, and particularly as leaders, you are able to balance that life and have fun while you're doing it, right?
Trying to, yeah.
Try to. It's a job that's so all-consuming and all-challenging. And I think Steve brings a breath of fresh air to that and allows us to really look at what the job could be, can be, and give us some vision of what we might like to be able to do in our job and achieve. So is that fair enough, Steve?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summation. Thanks very much. I'm not sure about all the nice stuff at the front, but I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Yes, you take it. All right. So let's start jumping into this, because this is a big book, but easy to read. So I need to say that. So I want to know, what was your inspiration behind writing this book?
Well, it's a really, really good question. So where do all these ideas come from? And I think of this famous quote by a guy called Ralph Waldo Emerson, who's one of my favorite all-time go-to quote people. He says, most of the shadows of this life are caused by standing in one's own sunshine. And I think that sort of sums up a lot about how life was when I was a principal. I call myself a recovering principal now. I was a principal for 28 years, and that was a pretty long time by anyone's standards. And I did have times when I was really, really enjoying it, but I didn't know that I was enjoying it until I looked backwards. So this book I was inspired to write it because I think as principals, we spend a lot of our time living too much in yesterdays and in tomorrows. We don't really just spend the time what's actually happening here and actually enjoying what's going on. And I've always had this belief, even when I was a teacher, that things can be fun and that you can enjoy yourself. But I still would wake up at 3 a.m. and I'd have all these worries. And first of all, why am I waking up at 3 a.m.? That was always the thing that was on my head. And the next one would be, why am I ruminating? The next one would be, why don't I like giving people bad news? Which these are things that everybody has, right? And so I thought, if I ever had a chance to write a book, then maybe I'd delve into those sort of things. And why do I always think about the bad things that are happening, having a negative bias going on in my head, and I'm not looking for the tiny triumphs that we have in our day-to-day lives. So this book, although when you read it, you're not necessarily going to have fun, but I like to have this idea that I'm going to take the thinking away from you so that you can actually stop having to worry about why you're waking up at 3 a.m. or stop worrying about why you're ruminating, because I'm going to give you a few things that you can do to do that. And then you can actually have fun. You can celebrate the tiny triumphs of your life. So that's the inspiration.
Beautiful. So here's the thing. There are 46, it says here, 46 ideas to free up your leadership thinkings. And I love that it's thinkings.
Yeah.
I think that was done on purpose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have put thunkings if I could have.
Oh, nice. So out of those 46 things, and what you just said, there's a chapter on rumination. There's a chapter on catastrophizing. There's a chapter on just breathe. Chapter on my dear future self. And I know you're going to share some of these things. Chapter on, is it time for a nap?
Oh, I know. Is it time for a nap? Yes, it is.
Yeah, on a chapter on self-compassion. Another one on when doubt comes calling. You talked about the negative bias.
I was calling a lot, and that would be one of those 3 a.m. things I'd have where I'd be going, I just don't know if I've got this right.
Yes.
And so it's a really good chapter of just thinking about what you can do when doubt comes crawling. And it will. It comes crawling and calling, actually.
Both, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
If you'd like your own copy of Am I Having Fun, then click on the QR code and we'll get you a copy in double quick time.